Hey, friends of the Contagious Victories community. Sorry about that. I hit the live button and realized I wasn't on Wi-Fi, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't make the same mistake as yesterday. So, hello, and thanks for joining me for another day of Meditate with me, May. We are almost done with the whole 8 days, and it's just hard to believe because this has just been so much fun doing this with y'all, and I really am so glad that y'all decided to join me again. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Dylan. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. Welcome back. I'm ready to meditate. I'm so happy. I just finished reading a chapter of The Universe Has Your Back, and Dylan and I had a little talk afterwards about what we got from it. And so I'm actually going to just kind of jump right in it today. I was asking him, what did you learn from the chapter? The chapter kind of went with today's theme, which is understand. And the mantra for today is happiness comes from within. And that really resonated with both of us because we were reading about how happiness is an inside job. And I just kind of thought that was funny how that really went with today's mantra and lesson. So I wanted to start off with telling you kind of what I learned from that chapter. Happiness is an inside job, and what can we do about that? Well, if there's a reason that you're happy, then technically you're still living in misery, because if that reason is taken away from you, then your happiness, poof, is gone too. So today's little mantra is happiness comes from within. And I want you to think about that for a little bit, because a lot of times we have goals, we have dreams, we have things that we want to accomplish in life. And, you kind of got to say, why? Why do we want these things? Well, because that's what we think life is. We string together those milestones, and we, put together a picture book of all the moments that our life has been. And then as soon as one of those things gets taken away, then immediately we don't understand why, or we're sad, or we're afraid. There's fear, that ego creeps in. So I want to invite you to think about the mantra, happiness comes from within. If you create your own happiness, if you are happy just without any reason at all, then nothing, not a thing, not a person, not a virus or government situation, nothing. It can't take it away from you. So just with that in mind, look around and think about what makes you happy. And if there's reasons for it, then I invite you to further your spiritual exploration and see if you can live moment to moment, not milestone to milestone. And sometimes people might look at you crazy if you're just happy in general without a reason, but you know why. It's because nothing can take it away from you, and that, nothing has giving that to you. So there's no power in whatever it is that's making you happy. I see some people are joining and commenting. Hey, Alice, that's my mamaw. I'm so glad that you decided to join today. And I saw you were on one of the other lives the other day, and it made me so happy to see you in here. Blake said, preach. Oh yeah, you know me. I like to get on my soapbox, and it's hard for me to come down. But that's why I've decided to put together this little 8-day thing. And I'm so glad that y'all all are here supporting this for me, because kind of piggybacking off of what that little message or I guess lesson it was that I just shared with you. This is my dream, and I know really doing this, could be taken away if the technology went out, or if I dropped my phone and I could no longer get on live, then I surely wouldn't be happy, that's for sure. But you know what? Having the moments of stillness that came before me doing Meditate with Me, May, where I sat down for a year and every single day I meditated for at least 5 minutes. And, finding that inner peace and connection with my Creator, that can't be taken away. And that's what birthed this little thing, which, I'm here on Instagram talking to 5 people who I know I love so much, and I know they at least care about me a little bit to be giving me a little bit of their time. So I feel like this is just for both of us, and it's not anything like, it's big for me, but it's not anything that I'm like boasting out there about, because I just am really doing this for my connection with the Creator. And then also I just kind of felt called to open that up to share it with y'all. So thank you. And I hope that y'all find that connection for yourself so that no one can take away your happiness. That is today's lesson. Okay. So, I guess one more thing that I put down here on my notes is put what you want in the hands of God and the universe, and then release it. Because if you keep harping on it, then you're assuming that whatever it is you've put into the universe or God's hands, he's not going to take care of it if you harp on it. And I don't mean that like he's made a choice not to take care of it. I'm saying from your perspective, if you keep harping on it and you keep asking about it, then that means, you're not trusting the universe or God to fulfill your needs. And I promise you, he has our needs at the front of his. He didn't have a mind, or God's not like an actual person, I don't believe. But I think that we are kind of like what we talked about with entrusting, which was one of the words for earlier this week. You have to put your feelings out there, and then you have to take your hands off, and you have to remove them from the steering wheel, or else you're still in control. And there's some things in life that just are life, our knowledge, we're just limited with our human experience is what I'm trying to say. And so there are things that we can put into the hands of God, the universe, your creator, whatever word you want to give that all-seeing, all-collective entity or consciousness. And I think that there are some things that when you release your needs to that things do come through. And so that's really what we've been talking about this whole little challenge. And I do want to remind you that if you haven't printed off your copy of the Contagious Victories Meditate With Me calendar, there's still use for it. Even though tomorrow is the last day, you can hang this up on your wall and be reminded of all the different lessons that we've learned together through this 8-day course. And you can get it for yourself by going to toriblackmon.com/meditate. And tomorrow is the last day, not to jump ahead of myself, but we've got a big day tomorrow, and it's all going to come together, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So don't forget about me when it comes to 7 o'clock on your clock tomorrow. I hope that you join me here. And that is all the little, that's all the announcements. I don't really have a word for it, but just, that's all I had to kind of say before we get into the meditating. So let's go ahead and pull a card like we've been doing every single night. I've got my prayer cards here. Also, I hope you're not too distracted by my Taylor Swift shirt. I've been wearing it. I still have my bathing suit underneath the shirt just from wearing it around today. So I hope that Taylor's not distracting y'all. But you know what? It's okay. Okay, so I've been putting the ones that we have already pulled to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again. I think that one was from yesterday. So I'm going to shuffle these, and I love it when y'all are involved with the card pulling process. So I'm going to begin shuffling, and then y'all get to tell me when to stop. So just comment in the little box there here on the Instagram Live if you would like to participate in helping me pull a card, and I'll just be waiting until I see a stop. There is also a little button there at the bottom of your screen where you can ask questions. So if you have any questions for me, or if you have any topics that you just want to share with me, then you can do that, and I can pull your question up on the screen, and that can be something that is interactive between all of us. Lindsay said stop. Okay, so I had 2 pulled right here. I'm just going to actually do this, and I'm going to pull the top one off. This is the day which the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Psalms 118:24. I don't think I've pulled that one yet. I think that's just a familiar Bible verse. This is the day which the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So what a good message. I love that. All right. I'm going to take a sip of my water, and then we're going to focus on our word, and we're going to get to meditating. So I hope you're ready. You can go ahead and get in a comfortable position. For me, I always like to have my little block underneath my bottom. And what that does is it lifts your hips off the floor so that you can really open up your chakras, to be honest, so that you can realign with the position that you were created to be lined up with. So if you have a block, or if you have some pillows nearby that you can sit on, then that's helpful. If not, it's totally okay. You can meditate standing up if you want to, or just sitting in a chair. Really, the most important part is that you bring your attention forward and that you set an intention for yourself. Today's intention is understand. We're going to hopefully walk away from this this Instagram Live with a little bit more understanding. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to open ourselves up to being mindful that happiness comes from within. That is our mantra today. Happiness comes from within. So wherever you are right now, go ahead and just start focusing on your breath. I'm going to get a little more comfortable. And then the last few days, my foot has gone to sleep. So I'm just honestly thankful I haven't gone to sleep in a meditative trance. So I'm going to kind of adjust my legs in a different way today. I'm going to sit up a little straighter. I'm going to align my neck I'm going to align my head and my neck, and then my shoulders underneath that, and then my chest underneath that. My stomach is expanded. I've closed my eyes, and right now I'm just going to take my hands and I'm going to place them, one on my chest where my heart is and the other on my stomach. And when you close your eyes, it doesn't have to be a tight close. It can be just a very light, almost like 90% closed. It's so closed and light that, you might get a little bit of light in every now and then, but it's not like a hard close. You're not squinching or anything. It's really relaxed. You're relaxing your face, your jaw, and you're bringing your attention to the breath. And like we talked about at the beginning of this Instagram Live, we're going to release our need to understand. We're going to release our hands from the wheel, and we're going to let go. And we're going to bring our attention to the breath as we inhale lightly and exhale. Not too deep right now. We're very shallow with our breath. It's just very light. Not shallow in a negative way, and shallow in a light and airy breath. We're releasing our need to understand, and we're having faith that by doing that, we're gonna be closer to understanding. Sometimes our need to be right or our need to control things actually is what steps in front of us getting it. We can get in our own way. And there's nothing, I guess, wrong with that, because right or wrong are made up by humans. We put words to those right actions, wrong actions. I don't know if, okay, here I'm back. Dylan just came in here when I had my eyes closed and I was really into it. And then he came in here and said that the connection got lost. So I think we're back. But you know what? This just really goes with the lesson today, because we are understanding that even if our meditation or our connection to each other is taken away, then I was still finding happiness because my eyes were closed. He literally just came in here and was like, looking at me. So I think we're back. But if not, then I'm just going to keep going. So I had my hand on my chest. My eyes were closed. Okay, I see a couple thumbs up. So I think that means we're back. We're good. So I'm going to go ahead and release that. I don't understand, but you know what? It's okay. Oh, and Daisy's in here too. Sorry if you hear little pit-pats on the floor. This is just fun. I'm honestly going with it. I think this is great. I made a podcast episode on my Contagious Victories podcast where I had people asking me if the pit-pat on the podcast was, what is it? It's like, I forgot what it is, but where like people are doing the slime and stuff and the sound effects and it makes you relax. I want to say EDM, but that's music. I know that's wrong. But anyways, I had people writing in. It's been a few weeks. Anyways, that's Daisy. She needs to get her toenails clipped. Corona season has had a little bit of a, effect on the amount of time she's been able to go to the groomers. But she's back in the bedroom now. Dylan came in and got her, and I'm just going to keep going and flowing with the meditation. So you can return with me by putting your hand back on your chest. Maybe you're still in it and you don't even know what's going on. That's okay too. But we were talking about understanding and how happiness is an inside job. And I don't even think there's any more for me to say or chant because, ASMR. Yes, Blake, that's what it is. ASMR, that's it. Yeah. I like that. I just didn't know that there was any tapping until I looked into it. And I was like, oh yeah, her little paws on the floor, the hardwood floor, does sound like ASMR. But anyways, I don't think there's anything more that I could, I guess, preach to y'all about understanding and letting go and realizing that happiness is an inside job, because what just played out for y'all in real time was a pretty good example. So I'm just going to go back to breathing. Oh, releasing all that. Not tension, just unexpectedness. And when you find your happiness from the inside source, you'll start to realize that no matter what unexpected circumstances come your way, that you'll be able to roll with it and it'll be fine. And I think a big part of that is realizing that the moment that we're currently in, the now, it is the miracle. And I got that from the chapter of the book I'm reading, so I can't take credit for it, but man, that was an enlightening moment when I read that earlier. The light is here in this moment, every single moment. And right now, there is light, and that is the miracle. The miracle isn't going to come when you finally get that job that you're hoping for, or when you get that degree, or when you buy that car, or the miracle isn't that moment. The miracle has always been with you all along. And again, if you put all of your power into those outside sources, then the second you're gone, or they're gone, you're nothing. You're not happy if that's what held your happiness. So just connect with that inner source. Oh, I just realigned. I felt that realign. Connect with your inner source and reconnect to your truth, which is light and love and infinite possibilities and infinity. I don't even know if that's a word, but just, I believe that we always are and always were and always will be. Maybe our form will change. Maybe our body, this physical shell that we are currently in, maybe that will fade away. But the real you has always been and always is. And it's obvious when you break away from who you are on the outside in the shell. It's obvious that that has always been and always will be, that inner guidance. When you disconnect with who you think you are, and you let the ego die. That sounds so harsh and abrupt, but I promise the ego is an illusion. It's trying to convince you that you're this, that you're this body, that you're the money you make or the clothes that you're wearing. It's not. That's an illusion, and it wants to hold its grip on you. But you always are, and you always will be love. And if you feel comfortable repeating after me, then I invite you to do so. I recognize that I am love. I live every moment with love. My intentions are love-based. I release my agenda to the universe. I recognize both love and fear and choose love. I am safe. am worthy. All is well. And without opening your eyes, I invite you to search your internal self, your true form, your internal and eternal self, your true form. I invite you to search it for happiness. No matter where you are right now, no matter what's going on around you, we are always able to connect with love because love has never gone anywhere. It always has and always will be. And knowing that, I want you to search internally for that feeling. Try to connect with it. Don't search too hard because there's not a right or a wrong answer. There's not a right or a wrong way to search. Just connect with that internal happiness. And I invite you to let it bubble up through you to your face. If you find it, if you discover something inside you that makes you want to smile, I invite you not to hold back. I invite you to let it possess you, that happiness. Let the smile graze your face. Let it be plastered on your shell as a billboard, and let it remind both you and others who you come in contact with during this brief moment here on earth, this blimp of a life in comparison to how great things are time-wise. I want you to remind everyone, including yourself, with that smile, how present love is. And if you can't find a smile today, that's okay. I want you to give yourself the understanding that there is always a choice to be made. And you can choose again in the next moment, and again in the next moment, and again tomorrow, and again next year, because we are human. There will be times when we disconnect from our source. But then in the next moment, we can realign with it, reconnect, and let that love flow through. And I personally admire positive symbolism. I enjoy seeing signs from the universe that I am on the right track, and I consciously ask for them. And I want my symbol to be a smile. And I want the smile to represent the connection I know we all have with our universe, with our Creator, with love itself. And that love is infinite. It's never going to die. It was never born. It always will be. That felt so good. And you are more than welcome to release that. If you are feeling comfortable to do so, you can open your eyes. You can join me back here on the screen if you are finished with your meditation and just, oh my gosh. Hi, I see some people in here. Ashley, Dylan, Ed, Jeff, Blake, Lindsay. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Oh, wow. That was great. I really liked that one. Made all those little hiccups we had earlier, it made them all small in perspective. And I want to invite you to remember today's practice. Remember that word, understand. And then I want you to think about happiness comes from within. Whenever you feel like you're in a dark place or you're being, tempted with the ego trying to convince you that you're not connected to that love, I want you to remember that it comes from within and there's nothing that can take that away from you. All right? All right. Well, if you'll have any questions for me, I'll stay on a little bit longer. And I'll remind y'all again that tomorrow is the final day of Meditate With Me May. But if this is something that you really enjoyed and that you want to continue to do, then I definitely will continue to show up for y'all. Maybe not Friday immediately afterwards, but I think that this is something we could do again. So again, it's not over until tomorrow. But if this is something that you enjoyed, then I would love to continue to practice with y'all. And you don't need me or a meditation teacher or anything other than your own personal connection with your Creator, with the universe, with God, for you to reconnect with that. And I know even in the Bible, whether you believe in reading it or not, I personally have grown up with the Bible, but it wasn't until about a year ago. Actually, no, not even that. I started my meditation practice a year ago, but I think it was September when I was given a Bible by a Greek church. This is an interesting story, so if you're willing to listen for a few more seconds or minutes, then I will go into it a little bit. But my partner Dylan and I have a company that we started. We are new business owners as of this past year, and we have been doing photography and drone work and videography. And there's a local church here in Gulf Shores that is the Greek Orthodox Church. Couldn't have been more, and I mean this not in like a weird way, but just using the word, it was a foreign thing for me. I went in, with an open mind, and I enjoyed every minute of going to that church because they invited us to come and participate in a service when we were working with them. And so Dylan and I said, why not? And it was the most beautiful service I have ever been to. The blue dome on top of the church made me feel just so connected because it reminded me of the blue sky, and there was so much symbolism and mantras and chants, and they burned incense inside the church, and it was so beautiful. They sang, and I haven't been back. I would love to go back again. I just haven't had an opportunity, but I really took away a lot from that experience, including a Bible, because they gave me a Bible. And I have always been really open with my spirituality and my practice, and I've never really said that I was one thing or the other. I was raised Christian, but even through that, I've had very open-minded parents who, painted different concepts in the traditional Christianity concept. Like my dad and I have always had great conversations about our connection with the Creator. And even when I was a little girl, my dad would always say, I'm your father of this earth plane, but you've got a bigger father above, and he will love you no matter what. I'm not going into a preachy ceremony. The reason I'm sharing all of these little details is to share that I went in with an open mind with a new religious concept, Greek Orthodox, and they handed me a Bible. And it's not that I guess latched on to any belief or anything. It's just that I felt called to read it. So I have literally picked up that Bible every day, every single day. And I've, sometimes been very intentional with what I'm reading. And then sometimes I'll just open it up and whatever I feel like I was called on that page to read. But it's nothing I want to force on anyone. It's just something that I feel almost excited about, because I never thought that I thought that I believed and I was connected. But then this past year, I've really gotten just the love that I guess I always had. We talked about that. I've always had it. I just have been able to share it more, I guess is the best way to say it. And so with that said, I've been reading the Bible more, and I didn't know until about this past September that meditation is written in the Bible. It literally says in the Bible, Jesus meditated. And so I think that sometimes meditation gets a really bad rep because people think that it's some voodoo, witchy, ooh, meditation, we're going to float, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I think it's so beautiful because it really just means to reconnect with your Creator, to realign yourself to the energy that is the cosmic energy. That does sound a little out there in voodoo, or woo-woo or whatever. But I promise I'm coming from a place of love, and I'm smiling because it does sound a little crazy. But I think that, or I know that what my point is that Jesus meditated, and it says so that, meditation's been around for decades, centuries, and with that said, I think that it can be whatever you want it to be. But it's really just about finding the space to show your self-love and to find that love that has always been and always will be, and to just give that love your attention so that you know it exists. So yes, Ashley said prayer can be meditation, and I love that. You're right, absolutely. And I think that for me, as you can probably tell, I kind of get wrapped up in words, and sometimes I kind of go off on tangents, and I'm working hard to get better at prayer, and I am always looking for ways to do that. And so I'd love to have more conversations about it, and I'm trying to find prayers that I like, and that, not that I like, but that resonate with me. And so that's kind of what all of Mindfulness May has been about, is I've kind of got these little, they're not technically like long prayers, but there's, mantras that I feel like we can always come back to, and it kind of reconnects that with our Creator. So I just enjoy the sitting still and the realigning and the focusing on the breath, because for me, it helps me to get calm, it helps me to get steady, and it gives me the confidence that I tend to lose sight of, or I tend to not have access to, whenever I am operating out of a place of fear. And I will be the first to admit that it happens a lot more than I'd like to recognize. But this past year, throughout the spiritual journey, as I've gone through the spiritual journey, I've realized that the anxiousness is not, worth it, I guess. It's operating from a place of fear, and it's not going to attract anything else except fear. And so I know that this is just the beginning of all of our spiritual journeys, because every moment is the now, and every moment is constantly fleeting and constantly arriving. And so we're constantly being asked to, or not asked, but we're just invited, I guess is the better word. We're constantly being invited to realign with that love. And through prayer, through meditation, for some people it might be running, which sounds like a lot of work to me, if you're asking me. But we all have different ways of connecting to that love. And for me, it's sitting still and not talking usually. It's usually just me breathing. So whatever's good for you. I think that it can be whatever it is that you want to make it, and whatever it is that you feel that love from. Now, I see a question. So I'm going to click on the little question here. Let's see. What book are you reading? Oh, good question. This is Blake. Blake Waters, I love you so much. Currently, I am reading The Universe Has Your Back. If you hang on 2 seconds, it's right over there on my table, and I'll go get it, and I'll show it to you. 2 seconds. One thing I would like to manifest is a bookshelf, because I have been on a read and roll lately, and I've just enjoyed it so much. I don't know where I've gotten this ability to, or this craving, I guess, to read and digest everything. But man, I've been really on a roll reading, and I've been trying to read at least one book a month, and I've been doing this for about a year. And honestly, based on what I've got, and they're completed, I'm reading them in full, and Dylan can account to that, because a lot of times I read out loud and he doesn't like it, but a lot of times he likes it too. I'm not saying it's all the time. I talk a lot, and so I can imagine that it gets annoying. But I really want a bookshelf, because I'd love to display these books, because I do want to share them. I'm not trying to be a book snob and be like, "Ooh, I read." It's no, this is where the information's coming from. I'm not the best communicator, so I'm butchering it a little bit whenever I'm taking these messages and sharing them with others. But I've also learned that that's okay, because you know what? I'm letting go of fear, and I'm doing it from a place of love. I have no agenda. My intentions are good. So even though sometimes it comes out imperfect, or sometimes I butcher my words, or sometimes I just don't get the message across, but I have the faith that it will always reach whoever it needs to hear. And so this is the book I'm currently reading, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. And if you want, I can read the back, or I can kind of summarize. It just says, through acceptance, surrender, and a commitment to her continually evolving spiritual path, New York Times bestselling author and international speaker Gabrielle Bernstein has been transforming her fear into faith. Her stories and universal lessons provide a framework for releasing the blocks to what everyone most longs for: happiness, security, and clear direction. These lessons can help us relinquish the need to control in order to relax into a sense of certainty and freedom, to stop chasing life and to truly live. So this is one of her books. She has a couple of them. I've actually got her next book because she wrote this one in 2016, and then this is the next one. And I haven't started this one yet, but I got it and I'm super excited about it. It's going to be the one I dive into next. And it's called Super Attractor. And it says methods for manifesting a life beyond your wildest dreams. And when I was reading earlier from The Universe Has Your Back, like I mentioned, I read a lot. I read aloud a lot. That's a tongue twister. I read aloud a lot to Dylan, and he was saying, you know, is she a Christian? Like, because she talks about prayer a lot, and she talks about, you know, God and the universe. And she, in the beginning of her books, she said, you know, I do believe in a lot of different things. She's gone on like Buddhist retreats and spiritual retreats and things like that. And she uses that word God, the universe, I think the collective consciousness. I can't remember if that's one of hers or if it's just one I always use, but she interchanges them. And personally, I really relate to that because I do think that sometimes through modern language, the word God tends to get a bad rep, and it doesn't have to. I mean, that's just my personal like belief, I guess. But you know, that can change. So I don't want to have limiting beliefs, but I guess what I'm saying is whatever word resonates with you, and I do admire how she switches those out pretty interchangeably, because for me, I also think that. And the super attractive books, I mean, super attractor, not super attractive, although I would say Gabrielle's she's super attractive, but she kind of comes off as like this like, ooh, voodoo girl, guru or whatever, but she's really, or her voice I feel like is really conversational and casual, and you know, there's some parts in the Universe Has Your Back book that are very like intentionally spiritual, but a lot of it is just talking about her own personal journey. And the chapter I read earlier was about how whenever she was trying to get pregnant, she was really trying, and it kind of gotten in her way, the trying. She had it all planned out, and the little phrase that she used was she was trying to pinpoint when she would get pregnant because she didn't want her pregnancy to be an inconvenience. And I think she shared that because it wasn't like the most positive thing, but I thought that really like got the lesson across that so often we think that these big things are gonna fit into our life in a convenient way, and we need to release that, and we need to, you know, say, hey, I would love to be, in her case, a mother, but sometimes we have to let go. And now she has a family, but it was like after she released that want and stopped harping on it. And that's what I started this whole Instagram live about, because I literally had just read that. So hopefully that answered your question, Blake. And I'm so happy that you asked, because I love sharing with you. And we need to meet up again soon, because it's been too long. And now that everything's back open and, you know, people are going out again, we could go have a coffee or something. So I will hit you up about that later. So I'm going to take the little question and put it off the screen. Thank you for asking. And I see some other people are commenting and joining. Hello, everyone. Yes, trust. That's right. All right, well, since I've got like 8 of y'all here, I am going to bring this back up again because you said trust, and I want y'all to just kind of think about this, all right? Even if you don't have this, it might paint out a picture for what we're going to do tomorrow. So Monday, the day that we started, actually it wasn't Monday. I don't know why I said that. Last Thursday, the day we started, it was ground, G, ground. Friday, respond, R, respond. Saturday, it was admire, A, admire. Sunday, it was connect. Monday, entrust. Tuesday, feel. Wednesday, understand. Tomorrow is love. I'm giving you a hint as to what the little surprise is tomorrow. I'm not going to say any more. Hopefully you saw what I was doing and you can put it all together. And we can meet back here tomorrow at 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think we're all in the South here. I'm looking at who's in here, and I know we're all people that, or y'all are all people that I've met. Oh, actually, no, Tyler, he's in here. He's not Central Standard Time. Well, Tyler, it's a little different of a time for you. My brother Tyler's in New York. I'm glad you're in here, though. Thank you. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be meeting back here, and we're going to talk about love tomorrow. We're going to finish out the Meditate With Me, May Strong. And after we talk about love, there's going to be a hidden message that I just gave a big hint to. And so if you'll have any more questions for me, then I'll stay on just a second or two longer. But then I got to go and grab my doggie because I hear her in the other room. And so I think that's it for tonight. So if there's no other comments, can't wait, Lindsay said. Okay, Dylan said, well said. Lori said, let go and let God. Trust, thumbs up. Awesome, y'all. Seeing y'all on here makes me so happy. But I know that it's not y'all, it's our connection with the universe that's making me happy, because we all have that connection, and we're all just a reflection of what's going on outside of this thing. And y'all are just so beautiful, and y'all are showing up, and we're just such a great community. I love it. I love you all. I'll see y'all again later tomorrow, 7 p.m. We're going to talk about love. Until then, I'm Tori. Y'all stay wonderful and happy and real and fulfilled.